Hello. Hello, my swans. Please, don't panic. It's all going to be okay. I promise. All right, first of all, let me get over here to the comments and say hi, everybody. Hey, Katrin, and Linda's here, and Carol. I love it. Hey, Laura, and Billy, and very nice. Thank you all for joining us. I saw some of y'all last night in the dining room. I was just sitting here knitting while I was waiting for y'all. But I'm not good at knitting running the clothes, so that's probably even though it is just ribbing. So I can read and do some knitting, but running this and knitting not always. So hey, if you don't know, I am Carol with Swan Yarns, and something that I constantly forget to do is asking you all to subscribe if you have not already. Do that and hit the bell for notifications, and you should be notified anytime that I put out a video. And I have been doing some fun little shorts and things like that. It seems to be helping. I've gotten some more subscribers, so I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all watching and being here. So, all right, listen, I did want to say, okay, sounded that, thank you. So I got a new microphone. I can adjust that. So you'll have to let me know how I do. So I won't get going. So Billy says no sound. All right, is this better? No sound for you either. Okay. I've got it all the way up. All right. Maybe do. So are you on here? Because I have the sound all the way up. I might have to unplug my microphone. Is that better? All right. Hey, Luann. So Kim says sound is low. So I have it all the way up. Bo is here. The tech expert is here. Oh.
That's good. That's better.
Okay. Is that better, y'all? Let me know. Carol said she turned hers all the way up and it's better. We don't want you to have to do that because then later when you go back to your normal programming, it's like, ah! Yeah. Trust me, I know. So, okay, Carol, yep, they're saying that's much better. Okay. So we'll have to figure out, maybe I need it closer in the future. We'll have to test it out.
Could be.
Yeah.
I tested it yesterday and it sounded great.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
So I'll leave you to it.
Okay. Thank you, dear.
Yes.
All right. Well, good thing we have Bo. All right. So as I was saying, gosh, I'm busy yakking and y'all can't even hear me. So the main thing I said was, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It helps me out. Yeah. And then if you hit the bell for notifications, you get notifications as well. Okay. Moving on we're talking about December. We have less than 2 weeks to Christmas. So I wanted to tell y'all, I was thinking this, I went for a short run this morning because I knew the rest of my day was going to be busy. I normally like to exercise in the afternoons, but this morning I was like, no, I got to get it done. So I went for a short run and I was thinking about it. And, they always say to take care of yourself. And I thought that is so true. Like you have to take care of yourself. Otherwise you're just no good to anybody else. So I know the Christmas season is busy. Some of you obviously busier than others. And then of course the holidays, even though they're great, I love the holidays. I feel like everybody's a little more cheerful. I'm more cheerful. I think I handle stress. Well, I think I handle stress a little bit better. Bo might disagree with that, but typically I just, because you're doing all of your usual things, but then you want to enjoy special things for the holidays. And so we tend to cram more in, which can be fun, but it can also be stressful. So I just wanted to encourage you all to please make sure you take care of yourself and don't feel guilty about it either. All right. Okay. So moving on. Hey, Yvette, glad to see you. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Some of y'all are having gloomy weather. Oh, 27 degrees. Oh my goodness. That's Tish. Oh, Tish. That's a little chilly. We are, I think we're getting into the 70s today. So it's a beautiful day. The wind is breezy. The sun was beating down on me when I was outside, but there was a nice crisp breeze. So it was perfection. These are the beautiful days in Florida that you wish could be every day of the year for sure. So the rest of you all, I hope you're staying warm. And Lonnie, you've got 2 more brioche decreases and then on to the stockinette and reverse stockinette. Thank goodness. Whew. I feel like I've been working out with you, Lonnie. Like, obviously not, but I am, you have been in it for sure. So, all right. So let's get going, shall we? I don't know if y'all noticed, but I have an FO. Okay, let's talk about this. So this is the Wednesday sweater that I've been working on since the beginning of November. I finished it. So I did do a couple of modifications. Some of you that have knit the pattern probably can see one right away that I did. One of the first things, so I knit the size small. And I use purple leaf plum on squishy worsted and then also fluffy lace. So I did do a couple of side decreases. I'll stand up so that you can see. And it really, like, I don't think you can see much. It just, for me, I think it makes just the tiniest bit of difference that I like. And I only did 3 sets. And I think I've told you all how I do mine. I basically, on either side of the middle of the armpit, I'll do at the beginning of on the left side of it, I should say, I knit 2 together and then slip, slip, knit on the other side of it. So it ends up being 2 decreases per round. So I did a total of 3 of them. So that would be 6 decreases. So not a huge difference at all. But it just, for me, I like it just a little bit better. So I did do that. The other thing that I did was I did the half twisted rib, which I love. I think it's beautiful. I did something interesting I'd never paid attention to before, but I think I saw a video or something and somebody made the comment that it's just a little bit less stretchy than regular rib. And it is, which I think is why she in this pattern did not have us go down a needle size, which I kind of like because I'm, didn't want to have to get up and change needles. So that's convenient. I like that. Plus I think it's just beautiful. It makes a beautiful stitch pattern. So that's cool. However, I did not do, I think it's an Italian bind off. I did the setup rows, but doing the actual bind off, I think I told you all this when I got down to the front hem to do the bind off, that my stitches were so tight. I didn't think I was really a tight knitter, but doing all those twists and things on the stitches, it was brutal. So I just did a regular knit bind off and I'm pretty happy with it. It's not perfect, but I like it. I think it looks good. I'm totally happy with it. And so I did that on every single area that I had to bind off. So, and then of course, the last modification that I made, you can see, is the neckline. So there were a couple of reasons for that. One, this is already a warm sweater and I do live in Florida. Another reason was time. I was ready to be done and I'm fine. It occurred to me the other day, maybe I need to be knitting less sweaters. They take a long time. I have quite a few warm sweaters now that I can wear. And I would love to have more short sleeved t-shirts that I can wear, especially here in Florida. And the other reason was that I wanted to use, I had 1 cake of my yarn left and I wanted to use it for something else. And I was like, this is perfect. I can use that cake for this other project, which I'll tell you all about later, and get a decent looking neckline. And there you go. So there you have it.
So that's it. And I do like it. It's very cozy, comfy. The fluffy lace, it just makes it extra squishy. There's absolutely no itchiness or anything like that. It's super comfortable. It was a little warm when I was getting dressed earlier. I got out of the shower and I was like, whew, I'm getting hot. But sitting underneath the fan and with it being cool, it's kind of like, you know how, I don't know if y'all up north notice this, but I notice it here in Florida when we get kind of this time of year, we get the swings in temperature from warm to cool. It's almost like the house always takes a few days to figure out that it's either warmed up or cooled off outside. I guess because it has to seep in through the walls. Because yeah, even when we had some warmer weather this past week, it was like the house was still cool. And then once it starts to cool off, if we get a cold front that comes through, it'll take a few days for the house to figure out, and it'll still be warm unless we open the windows and help it in a little bit quicker. So anyway, thank you, Karen. Yes, this is Purple Leaf Plum. And it does, I have to say, I really love it. I love the drop shoulder feature. I've always thought that I look better with the, I forget what, like, maybe, I don't know, is it a more tailored look where the seams are, straight up and down and all of that. But no, this is really good and it's super comfortable. So thank you all very much. Oh, thank you, Yvette. Your sweaters always fit perfectly. Not always. I've had a few that haven't fit so good, but I think that's the key that's why I check my gauge. I check my gauge and then I try it on as I knit because I don't want to. I will say I tried this sweater on way less often than I have other sweaters. I was really ready to be done with this one. I didn't even check the sleeves. I basically knit as long as she said and was like, okay, hope that's good enough. So I could have had a bit of a catastrophe, but they ended up being perfect. In fact, if I had gone any longer, I think they would be too long. So yeah, they are perfect. So anyway, all right. So what have we got? Okay, couple of announcements. Tomorrow is my trunk show at She Sells Yarn in Ormond Beach, along with, for those who signed up, a sock blank dye experience. So I've been busy getting dyes ready and sock blanks and all that good stuff. So we're ready to go for tomorrow. So in order for that to happen, I'm going to close the online shop today at 3. So I will finish filling any orders that I can once that is done, or before that is done. And then the online shop will be closed and it'll reopen tomorrow night once we get done and get back home. And I'll announce it, of course. So I'm doing another giveaway. If you come to the trunk show, you can enter, sorry, I'm dropping things. You can enter to win this little prize pack. So this is cinnamon spice on sparkly DK. Look at that sparkle. And then there is a mini skein of Swan white on trusty DK. So I decided to do something a little bit different just in case Facebook decides to give me issues again. Although since that has happened, since the last giveaway, I am getting notifications, at least as far as I can, at least I think I am, when people tag Swan City Yarns. But I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a sheet tomorrow to the trunk show. And if you sign up for the newsletter, then you are entered to win. Now, some of you have already signed up. And that's totally fine. You'll be entered to win as well. But you do have to come to the trunk show. But it occurred to me, I'm thinking maybe after this, once I get my feet underneath me again, maybe we'll do a giveaway for newsletter subscribers in general. So, because I realized, what about all the other people who have signed up for the newsletter? So maybe we'll do a giveaway there as well. But for now, this is for the trunk show and for people who come. So we'll announce that after the fact. All right. Also, I finally came up with the giveaway prize for the December Fiber Challenge. If you are participating in that, I picked up the wrong skein. If you're participating in that, so here, let me just say this. I think I realized something. I post something and I just assume that everybody knows what I'm talking about, but y'all aren't mind readers. So I realized I probably need to be a little bit more clear. So for the December Fiber Challenge, you can use any fiber or yarn from anyone. It does not have to be Swan City. And you can work on anything that's related to Christmas. It can be a Christmas colorway, like red or green, something like that, traditional colors, or you can simply be working on a Christmas item, like a stocking or, something, an ornament, something like that. You can also be working on a gift. So you could be crocheting or knitting, or I think someone, Debbie, was hand stitching, embroidering an ornament, and she said that it didn't count. And I realized afterwards I didn't contradict her, but that totally does count. If you're using fiber of any kind, as far as I'm concerned, it counts. So, and every picture, you do have to post pictures. You can't just tell me what you're working on, because we want to see, everybody wants to see what you're working on. So you do have to post pictures, and every picture that you post basically counts as an entry. I mean, so technically you could go in and post a picture a day. I mean, who's stopping you? So, but some of us are better at posting than others. I get that. But this is every entry this is the prize that you are going for. So this is Spindle Prick Red, which is on my monitor is looking much of a brighter red. Spindle Prick Red is kind of a dark with a deep blue undertone to it. And needless to say, that's it. Can y'all see the sparkle on that one? It's Sparkly DK, which has a ton of sparkle. And then Swan White on Fluffy Lace. So I thought that would make a good combo for the prize. So that's what that is. So the post is in there. It's featured. So if you're not a part of the Swan City Stitchers Facebook group, you should be. And then just look for the post that has the December Fiber Challenge. And technically right now, because there's few enough of us, you can post just in the Swan City Stitchers group. Last month, I just went through all of the posts for the previous 30 days, counted every single post along with that thread, and then every picture was considered an entry. Once we get more people participating, I'll probably have you do a hashtag or something, because I won't be able to I won't be able to keep track. There may be too many posts, but for now, I'm basically any post or that you do in the group or in that thread counts. I hope that clears everything up. Clear as mud. Yes. Okay. Let's see. All right. Karen, you're a 3/4 sleeve gal. I didn't think that I was, but recently I have a couple of shirts that are, and I don't hate them. So I think I used to not like 3/4 sleeves, but now, yeah, I think I do like them. They and if I need to push them up, then I just push them up and get them out of the way. And for me, I'm constantly pushing up sleeves when I'm out in the dye studio, because I'm getting my hands in the water and stuff like that. So yeah, but 3/4 sleeve. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. All right. Yes, I know. And by the way, speaking of the red sparkle yarn, I did put some of these in the shop. So I think this was one of the requested colorways that when Nancy did her post asking what colorways everybody wanted to see on Sparkly DK, I think Spindle Prick Red was one of them. So, and you could easily make your own sock set, grab some minis, some DK minis, you're good to go. So those are in the shop also. All right. What else? Okay. Fleece Your Feet. Thank you all so much for the love. A lot of you bought the pattern. I haven't done a good job of announcing, so I will do some posts announcing it. I'm going to do a giveaway for that. I'm doing an awful lot of giveaways. But though my finance guy hasn't said I shouldn't, so for now we're good. At the end of January, I think the last day of January happens to be a Friday. So on that last Friday in January, I will announce a winner. All you have to do is make a pattern page for Fleece Your Feet, even if you haven't finished it, if you make a pattern page and post a picture of some sort, then you are entered to win. If you finish your socks, then you get 2 entries. So, and the winner will get a $50 gift card to Swan City Yarn Store. So you can spend it however you like. All right. Okay. Now, let's see. Okay, moving on. Okay, I did want to mention, so I think I told you all last week that the Distaff Day registration is open. I believe today is the last day if you want to get merchandise. It's not the last day to register, but it is the last day to get merchandise. They have some cool t-shirts, I think tote bags. Was there something else? I don't remember. I know there was something else. I just don't remember what it was. But they have to have time to order them and get them shipped to back to them to give to you. So if you want merchandise for Distaff Day, then you need to go ahead and get that done today. All right, moving on. So shall we talk about the winter collection? Let's do it. I hope you're signed up for the newsletter because there are some very cool pics in the newsletter. A few that I'm actually going to share with you. Let's see. I didn't load. Okay, some of those I don't have loaded that I put in the newsletter, but that's okay. So I'm going to show you some here. Oh, good. Lonnie says the Dying to Knit Club was fun last night. It was fun. And that was, I should have, speaking of which, we can talk about those colorways. Excuse me, first. All of the ones that are dried, I already have packaged up to go to the post today. So I can't show you the color that we dyed up last night. However, the coordinating cousins are available in the shop if you are so inclined. You don't have to be a part of Dying to Knit if you want them. I was telling them this first one, this is called Santa Claus. Santa Claus is very close to Spindle Prick Red. Let's see if my monitor will pick up the difference between the two. So Spindle Prick Red over here, they both look very bright red on my monitor. I don't know about yours, but Spindle Prick Red is just a little bit deeper and darker. Santa Claus, the reason I dyed up Santa Claus is for those, I was telling them last night, for those who either, if you don't have Spindle Prick Red in your stash, or if you are a purist and you want the reds that are in the skein that we dyed last night, then that is Santa Claus. So the rest of you, if you're not in Dying to Knit, then and you're a red lover like I am, you might just want all the reds. So you can order some, and I put, there's not a huge variety of bases. I think I limited these to the bases that were offered for Dying to Knit because the coordinating cousins are really dyed with them in mind. And then the green is Gemini, which you all have seen before. It's been in the shop, but I thought it was a nice contrast to our colorway. And then, of course, the Dying to Knit members also wanted a pre-order for Out of the Mist because there was the same silver was used in our colorway last night. So there's not a great picture in that listing. So for those of you who are not in Dying to Knit, if you went to the website and you saw that picture, that was given to me by Kim. Thank you, Kim, for giving me that picture of Out of the Mist. And just so you have some reference. But anyway, so if you are looking, some of the Dying to Knit members wanted that as well. So I stuck that up there for them. So, and that is available on a multitude of bases. So you can get what you like. And I was telling them the good news is I will be doing a 3-month subscription next year. I'll offer 3 of them. We'll do them in 3-month segments, and the theme will be all things classic. So we have to do classic authors, of course. That will probably be the first series. Maybe not. Maybe I'll mix it up and we'll do something else. The others, we were talking about classic music, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And then the last one will either be classic television, things like Happy Days, stuff like that. Or classic candies. So I've had very approving comments for both of those. So I'm not sure which is going to win. I may have to roll the dice because I can't play favorites. So yeah. So anyway, so dying to knit will continue. So very good. Yes. And all right. So let's talk about, shall we, our winter collection. So I did 5 colors that I think go nicely together. They mix and match well. In fact, in the newsletter, I showed this. I'm just going to go ahead and show it now. Oops, hang on a minute. Let me do this. Oh, that's not going to work. I thought, duh. Okay. Well, that's all right. Okay. You'll just see me moving around in the background. So this is a very cool shawl that is being knit by Laura. And it is the Glittering Snowscape shawl by Stephen West. And she is using 1 skein of each of the 5 colors in the winter collection. And I think she did a beautiful job. In fact, I'll talk more about that, and I'll even do a post because at least one person has already requested to know how she assigned the colors because they want to make the shawl as well. And there are some nuances to choosing your colors for this shawl. So I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But just it goes to show, the reason I wanted to show you that was so that you could see how nicely all of the colors do interact together. So you can mix and match however you like. So I tried to do, we'll start with these 2. I did 3 tonal solids. The first 2, they're, as Laura pointed out to me when she was commenting on something, they're very close. You have Teal, The Cows Come Home, and then you have After Midnight. So After Midnight is, it was so hard to photograph this, I got to tell you. It is a deep, dark midnight blue, exactly as the name suggests. And Teal, The Cows Come Home, it was actually difficult to do as well. It's a deep, dark teal. They're moody. I wanted them to be moody. I gave all of these a dark glazing overwash so that it would kind of deepen the color, make every single one of them a little bit moodier, because it's winter. So deep, dark colors. So these 2 are close. The teal is, I think it's slightly green leaning for sure, but it is a true teal. And then the third tonal solid is called Burnt Butter. And this one, it's like, depending on what you pair it with, it can definitely lean more orange, but it's really a golden orange. And again, it has that deep, dark overwash or glaze on it. And so it makes it dark. It kind of wants to look brown as well. So it just kind of depends on what you pair it with. So those are the 3 tonal solids. And then I did the 2 variegateds. The first one is Dappled. Now, if this looks familiar, that's because this is basically Purple Leaf Plum, but dyed up in a different technique. Instead of pouring or using a liquid concentrate to make a tonal solid, which is what I do with Purple Leaf Plum, I speckled the color on. I used dry powder in a high immersion environment. And I was telling the Dying to Knit members that this is one of the few colorways that I actually measured out the dye. So every 100 gram skein has the same amount of dye on it, but they tend to look differently. For example, look at, here it is on Fluffy Sock, and here it is on Silky Sock. So, but they have the exact amount of dye. Normally when I speckle dry powders, I tell people I don't measure. I just go by visual. But this is one of the few colorways that I've measured. So they all have the same amount, even though they look different. So let me show it to you. So for example, here it is on Fluffy Lace. And I find that interesting. It's interesting to me. So oh, I should have got purple leaf plum. Y'all remember when I dyed up purple leaf plum on fluffy lace, it had a really dark green cast to it. Do y'all remember that? Which, you know, like I said, when you knit it up, you don't see the green, but it really shows up in the skein. But I found it interesting that when I did it with dry powder, you don't get that green overcast look to it. It's very interesting. So I love it in both forms, honestly, but that's it on fluffy lace. And then let me show it to you on, where did I do it? Fluffy DK. Looks very similar, but again, like I said, I measured out the dye powders, but you can see I think there's a lot more tonal variation. And there's some of that green that you see when I dye up purple leaf plum, but it's mostly, you know, got those purples and pinks and all that stuff. So, yes, I know, Laura, I think Dappled is my favorite too of all of them, because it's so, you can just do so much with it. You know, it has all these different colors in it, greens and grays, and even some blues. And so you can pair it so nicely with anything. I think even if you were to use this with a swan white, oh, that would look really good. So anyway, and then this last variegated that I did is called Cookie Crumbs. Now, if you've seen this colorway before, you might be used to seeing it like, hang on, let me get it. Like this. So this is Cookie Crumbs on a DK Mini. So this is the way that I dyed it the very first time. I think it was part of a subscription, one of the club colorways. And when I dyed it at that time, it was a very light colorway. I didn't put much dye powder down. And so when I was auditioning these 5 colors, I did it on mini skeins first. And so I did Cookie Crumbs because I thought, oh, I think that'll look good. But I noticed, I was like, okay, next to all of these deep dark tonals, I think I want it to be a little more, to have a little more dye. So I did that. And you can see that on all the full skeins, you get a lot more color. So I used one of the dye powders that is in the Cavendish colorway is on here. And then you've got some browns and some purples coming through, some of that golden brown coming through as well. So I think that's why it looks so good with each of these. And you could totally do like a pair of socks. That's burnt butter and Cookie Crumbs together. But one of the things I like about burnt butter, I realize I know that my customer base as a whole loves their purples and blues and even pinks. And that's what we normally go for. I like the burnt butter because some projects that we knit with, they need some contrast. And so I wanted to make sure that the collection had some colors that would offer, you know, some stark contrast. Because if you have all colors that aren't, you know, really high contrast, then they don't make, you know, if you have a project that calls for it, then it's not always as good. But yeah, so depending on what project you have, I think that all of these are good for them. So here, this is Cookie Crumbs on Fluffy DK. It looks very similar on Fluffy Lace. You can look at that. That variegated section that you're seeing, that's the dye powder that gives you, it's one of the dye powders that gives you Cavendish when it's a tonal solid. How awesome is that? Which probably explains why I've noticed on a lot of skeins of Cavendish, no matter how well I mix up that liquid concentrate, when I go to stick those skeins in and cook them up, and I can turn them often, you'll still get these little areas of like a deep dark red. And it goes in nicely with the Cavendish colorway. And so it's, you know, it's cool. We all love the Cavendish colorway, but boy, talk about some breaking in your dyes. So anyway, so that is Cookie Crumb. And you can see, I think it goes really cool with Dappled even. So that's on Fluffy DK, but you could do something with that on one of the other bases. So I'm mainly showing you, this is Silky Sock, and I showed you Fluffy DK and I think a little bit of Fluffy Lace. Most of the skeins look very similar. If there's one that you want to see, I do think that Fluffy Lace looks a little bit different. So let me see, what have I got here? So this is After Midnight on Fluffy Lace, and you can see that it's just a little bit different. Then here it is on Silky Sock. See the difference? So it still has a nice sheen to it because it has silk in it, but it just definitely, it looks a little bit softer on Fluffy Lace. Yeah. Or sorry, Fluffy Sock. All right. So you'll have to let me know if there's any bases that you want to see. Yes, we do love our purples. I know. Yes, and Cookie Crumbs on Fluffy DK. Like, I'm thinking I might need to, I need all the projects. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about this that Laura did. So if you are interested, and again, I said, like I said, I'll do a post on this, but if you're interested in this shawl, Laura said that her color A, she started with, well, yeah, I'm assuming that you start with color A, right? That looks like it, After Midnight. And she mentioned that she had originally, that center piece where the shawl starts, she originally started it with Cookie Crumbs, but there's so much going on in the stitch patterns. And y'all know this, if you have a very busy stitch pattern, sometimes variegated colorways, they just don't hold up well, or you can't see the stitch pattern because the variegateds take your eye off the stitch pattern. So she ended up using After Midnight, and it looks really good there. Color B was Dappled, and then C was Till the Cows Come Home, and then D was Cookie Crumbs, and color E was Burnt Butter. And I'll put that in the show notes as well so that you'll know. And like I said, and I'll also do a post at some point. She mentioned, oh, this is where she said, these are Laura's notes. She said, since Midnight and Teal are close cousins, they need to be at least one section apart in the shawl, which is what she did. And then she said, also, all of the colors are used in the border per the pattern. So Midnight and Teal the Cows Come Home have to be stripes and not the main border color. So that, in other words, to get them to show off and then to contrast against another color because they're too close together and you wouldn't have contrast. And then she mentioned you could just use whatever you want for the border and eliminate the stripes so that you don't have to worry about that. But it sounds like the key is to start with a tonal solid when you start the pattern. And then you can always adjust from there if you want to. But so that is an awesome progress. Here was another close-up that Laura sent me of the shawl as well. How beautiful is that? I love it. I love the Dappled in there and then the Cookie Crumbs. Yeah, those are awesome. Very cool. All right. And while we're at it, I thought y'all might want to see, I cannot wait for this. This is Lonnie's. This is the Fiber Fest shawl that she's knitting up in, oh goodness, Swan Song. And then the berry and, oh goodness, Cat's Meow are the purple and the pink up there at the top that you're seeing. So how awesome is that? She's fighting through brioche. So yes, you are doing things that I could not do, Lonnie, for sure. All right. So yes, Laura said section A. A is the section on the right. Yep. In the center where you start. Okay. Very good. All right. So another thing that I am so I'm using some of the colors in the collection, and I'm hoping to work on some socks too at some point, but I have cast on a new project. I told y'all I wanted. So check this out. So this is Purple Leaf Plum. This is the skein. Basically, this was the last cake for my sweater project. So here it is, purple leaf plum. And I used it to cast on this cool pattern. It's the rustic cabin hat. So it's intended, they wrote the pattern for some marled yarn. So color A needs to be a dark color. That's what you knit the brim with. And I've got a ways to go. Like I got to do like 5 inches. So, but you know what? That's okay. It's not brioche, so I'm good. I will take my 5 inches of ribbing. It basically, they start, it's interesting. Normally with ribbing, like knit 2, purl 2, that's our go-to. That's what you always hear. But they have you start with purl 2. Oh, none of that easy, usual knit 2, purl 2 for us. No, we are purl 2, knit 2 on this pattern. So, which once you're into it, it obviously doesn't even make a difference. And it might, I don't know, maybe there's a reason why they have us do that. I do know that you need 1 skein of color A, and it actually calls for DK weight yarn, but I'm just knitting with the squishy worsted at the DK gauge. So I'm using the same needle size and everything, just as if it were DK, and it's working fine. So then it says color B should be marled. Now, I obviously don't have marled yarn. I could make my own marled section or yarn by holding Swan white together with Dappled. I don't know. So this is Dappled on the DK Mini. I may just use Dappled because I think Dappled and this work together, basically. They interact with each other. I think, yes. And then you have to have a light color. See that light up there? And actually, I only need a mini skein for that as well. So I'm thinking for that, I'll do the cookie crumbs. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. I think I'm just going to go with the Dappled. I like holding fluffy lace with other yarns, but after an entire sweater of it, it's that whole thing. You want to do something different. So I think that I will use Dappled as my marled colorway, and then this will be the light colorway. So I got to get that wound up at some point. That may have been part of my incentive for using this, is because it was already wound. I'm just saying. I mean, I love winding yarn. Actually, I don't mind it. I really don't. But it's one of those things where you have to get it out and set it up. I don't have a constant setup. And so usually when I wind yarn, I like to do multiple skeins at a time. And so I was like, oh, but if I just go ahead and use this, I just start knitting right now. I don't even have to go wind anything yet. So yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. It literally takes I'm doing this. I almost wonder if I couldn't have done the small, but it says that the first size is a child's size and it fits a head circumference. But if it's a head circumference up to 18 inches, and with yarn being as elastic as it is, ribbing, I don't know. I'm thinking this looks like this would fit Bo. I don't know. We'll see. He and I may fight over this hat when I'm done. We'll see. Sometimes he surprises me. He likes something that I expect he won't like, and then doesn't really care for something that I expect he will. So we'll see. But I think it's pretty cool. It takes 1 full skein and then 2 minis. So that's not too bad. All right. What else have we got? I think that's it. Did I miss anything? What have I missed? What have we not talked about? That's everything that's on my list, y'all. What time is it? Oh, this is like the earliest that I've covered everything. That's pretty good. All right. Yes, I know. Lonnie's shawl is awesome. Laura's shawl is awesome. Y'all are amazing. And it's like I told Bo this morning. I said, I couldn't do it without you. So them knitting up sample knits is so helpful and so appreciated. So, all right. I said it's a busy season of the year, so I'm not going to keep you all any longer than I need to. I'll be back next Friday. And yeah, so I'll get out any orders that I can today. And then after that, the shop will be closed at 3. All right. So I hope that you all will take care of yourselves. And I hope you're enjoying the holiday season. As I said in the newsletter, whatever makes your heart happy, that is what I hope for you. All right, everybody, please take care of yourselves, and I will see you next Friday. All right, bye.